What up, what up, what up? I'm AC Cruz. You know who you are. Welcome to the podcast. My podcast. Your podcast. How you been? We are kicking off season 13 of the podcast with the one and only Art Tigerina. And the reason we start off with Art is because quite a few people have been asking, what's going on with Art? Where's he at? What's the deal? We'll find out in just a few. You know, to be quite honest with you, I did not know about the country band that he's got going. I know that he did a stint quite a bit for Grupo Vida, and I know that he did some country, but I freaked out because, man, oh goodness. After we did this interview, man, I went ahead and searched the Jukebox Preachers, and wow, I was floored, man. And again, I'm being honest, and I just couldn't believe it. I know that he's got the Art Tigerina Band, but Jukebox Preachers, man. He's phenomenal. That's it. Phenomenal. And I've been around for quite a while as a program director, so you can bet that I've heard all kinds of material come across my desk. But Art, you'll find out. And it was really cool at the very end. He does a little bit of acoustic on the podcast. It's very cool. He's pretty busy, but he managed to squeeze in about a half hour with me, and I appreciate it. And it was enlightening. Enlightening, for sure. I dug his outlook. I dug his vibe, because you may think because he used to be with with Vida, he's got sour grapes. Oh, hell no. That is not the case. That is not the case at all. Art is doing art, and I dig it. And I hope you dig it. Now, on to what's going on with me and the relaunch. Well, here's the deal. When you listen to this podcast, you listen on all kinds of platforms, whether it be iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, even iHeart, Odyssey. Now, when you listen to those episodes on those platforms, you don't get all 127, maybe more, that we recorded. So, that being said, you only get 100 episodes on each platform. Again, whether it's Amazon or YouTube, the only place that you can hear the first 27 episodes, because you only get 100 on the platforms, is the accruzpodcast.com. That's it. The accruzpodcast.com. And a lot of you guys said, dude, I did not know that you did that with Bobby, your compadre. You did that with Michael Gonzalez, Javier Galvan, Michael Salgado. So again, if you want to hear some of the episodes that you can get on the platforms, just go to the accruzpodcast.com and you'll hear episodes from the archives. Some people charge for this shit, but I'm not worried about it. I don't need them. Well, I need the money, but you'll enjoy it for free, okay? Así tan simple. And that's it. All right, let's jump into this. Y'all ready? This is me chatting with Art Tigerina.
On the next AC Cruz Podcast.
Finally, Art Tigerina, man. Pleasure to finally meet you or say hello, brother.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. How's everything going?
I want you to know that I had to have you on the podcast because people have been asking about you.
Cool,
and
man.
I said, you know what? I'm going to get Art to kick off season 13 for the podcast, man.
Wow,
we've been around
awesome,
for
13 seasons.
Yeah, we've been around for quite some time since 2018, man, 4 years ago.
Cool, man. That's great, man. It's great for you. How things going with you?
It's going great, man. Gracias a Dios, real good. How about you, man?
Oh, doing good. Staying busy, man. Staying super busy. Of course, still jamming. Of course, I have my band, the Art Tigerina Band. I also have a country band called the Jukebox Preachers. So, man, it's between that and work and the kids and the dogs. It's just every day, man.
I love it, man. Let's go ahead and talk about all that. First of all, now I know, and I'm sure some of your fans know, but for the subscribers that don't know, how it all started, Art. How did you start in the biz? How did you start singing? How old were you? Please enlighten us, brother.
Well, yeah, for sure, man. My father was a musician back in the day. He was a singer, a vocalist, and he played a little guitar. He did Mexican music. I guess it wasn't really Tejano. It was more like a conjunto style stuff back in the day. Yep. Him and his brother. And then, of course, my brothers had a band back home. I'm originally from Bryan, Texas, my hometown. They had a band called Tierra Mala.
How many siblings you got?
I have 4 brothers and 4 sisters. So I come from a fairly big family.
Yeah.
But they had a band called Tierra Mala, and I just, I've always loved music. I've always loved music, but I was never really like drawn to it. Like, oh my God, a lot of people that I know, they've been doing music since they were like 3 years old, 4 years old.
Yeah.
But I never, even though music was around, I was around music all the time. I never was like, oh, I want to play guitar. I want to sing. I was always drawn to cars. I loved cars. That was my first passion.
Talk about cars. I'll bet you right now, I was a car freak as well, man.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, when I was a lot younger.
Yeah, I love cars, man. My younger days, my brother used to put the model cars together.
Oh yeah,
I remember one time I kind of totally enjoyed one.
My favorite that used to be the '57 Chevy, man.
Oh yeah, I had one. I had a 4-door though. It wasn't the 2-door hardtop.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a cool ride, man.
And then when I got a little bit older, when I moved to San Antonio from Houston, I was maybe about 12, 13 years old. I fell in love with a Triumph Spitfire, man. Little bitty car, but it was badass, man. Anyway, so what's your all-time favorite? Do you have any collector?
I have a 66 Beetle that I'm working on right now. I'm totally restoring it. I had it all blasted and just had it painted. We're doing the all new wiring, all new everything. So it's gonna be a cool little ride. If I had, if my dream car is to have like a 69 Plymouth GTX.
Oh wow! You ain't messing around there. Hell yeah!
Those are awesome cars, man. I love the Mopar. I love the big, what they call the B body styles.
Yeah.
But anything like that, I've always enjoyed cars, man.
Cool. Right on. Now we're done with the cars. So you got the music. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I started doing music. I started singing country music. So I had little bands back home that I would just jam with and play. And then my brothers at that time, they had a band also, but it was Tejano. And one time I was like, you know what, I asked my brother, I said, hey man, would you mind if I sang something? Because they were playing like a wedding or something like that for some friends of ours the following weekend. And he was like, yeah, man, what do you want to sing? So I learned the song Pienso en ti from Emilio. Quiero que tú sepas que yo pienso en ti.
Yes, sir.
So I learned that one, and that was like the first Tejano song I ever sang. I sang it with them in a little town called Hearn, Texas. I was at a wedding, I think. And then so I knew a few guys, and they were like, hey, man, let's get this Tejano band together. So we did, and my first Tejano band, as a matter of fact, we were just talking about Marcus Daniels, and he used to play a band called Algo Suave, right?
Yeah.
So that was my first band. So Algo Suave, I originated Algo Suave back home, and then his keyboard player was Algo Suave. I call him Pinocchio, but he was a keyboard player for Jay Pettis now. He called me one day. He goes, hey man, would you mind if I keep the name? So he kept that name going for a while. So that's when Marcus Daniels was at with Algo Suave.
Marcus did share that story with us that he got Algo Suave from you guys, man.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So I started I started doing music, and I had that little band Algo Suave, and back home I grew up in Bryan, and so I started getting some help from some other promoters in that area, the Familia Ramirez, and them. They were really good friends of mine. And so I was getting opening, I started opening it up for La Fiebre, for Shelly Lattes, for
was that
David Lee Garza.
I'm sorry, was that Julia Ramirez?
Julia, yeah, Julia.
Yeah, come on now,
yeah, her and David and Juan. Matter of fact, I just saw them the other day. I was in Bryan.
Cool.
And so I started doing that, and it was going real good. And then my keyboard player, his wife was attending Texas A&M. So after she graduated, he left. So it was kind of hard, small town, hard to find a keyboard player. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to go to San Antonio. So I got in my at that time I had a 1976 Chevy Caprice, and I just said, on the wing and a prayer, man. I said, I'm just going to go and do music. So I drove to San Antonio, and I lived out of my car for about, a good month and a half. So I was pretty much homeless, but I was trying to find a gig, I was, and of course I'm a technician, I'm a mechanic by trade, right? So I would just find these places that had like little small fleets, like cleaning services that had 2 or 3 vans or whatever, and I would service their vehicles, kind of just to make some money.
Yeah. But
yeah, and so I was homeless there for a while, and I lived out of my car, and just in the pursuit of doing music, and finally I was just like, man, I just couldn't do it because I would ask people, and I was like, well, maybe no, maybe, but nobody knew who I was. And so finally, a gentleman gave me a job working for him. He's driving his limousine, and he said, I got a room at my house that you can stay in, because at that time I was already in the brink of just saying, you know what, I'm just gonna go back home. Wow. So I always give his name was Emmanuel Solis. I don't know if you remember Emmanuel Solis.
No,
in San Antonio.
No.
He was a great friend of mine. He was one of the big reasons I stayed. And if it wasn't for him, let me stay at his house, who knows, man? Who knows what this road would have been? But it was good. I got in. I started playing with a group called La Venganza for a little while, and then I started meeting people here and there, and then I got in with City View. That was my first Tejano, big Tejano band that I started singing. So I did an album with them under Freddie Records, and then we just it didn't work out. So I got out. And I was out for a while.
Now, what year was this, man?
This was like 1990. Man, I want to say 95, maybe.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
So then I got out and it was working, and then I got a call from a friend of mine. And he was like, hey, man, this group called Grupo Vida, they're going to be looking for a singer. And I was like, Eddie Gonzalez group? Eddie Gonzalez Grupo Vida? Yeah. And it was strange to me because they had just released El Disgusto. So that was like a big hit.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, well, okay, well, cool. So I gave my number, and their manager called me, and then we arranged like a little tryout. So I went and tried out, and it worked out, man. And I was with those guys for about 17 years.
Well, we'll tell you this though. Our good friend Sonny Sauceda, he had some good things to say about you.
So I was rebuilding the band, and so we got all these singers, and then this guy Art Tigerina walks in. He's an older guy, and he looks older.
Oh yeah,
because he at the time he was out of the business, and so he was not worried about image, and he looked his age. But I heard him sing, and the guys were excited about him. He was referred to us by one of our road guys.
He's a great vocalist, man.
He's a great vocalist.
Yeah.
But go back 25 years, nobody really wanted that.
Wow.
Everybody was skeptical. Well, Eddie was 21, 22.
Yeah.
Eddie was young, good looking, popular. To bring in an unknown guy, was a risk. And he was older. So he was, Art was into, he was into bodybuilding. He was kind of stiff. And so, but I heard him sing, and I heard him sing his country. And I heard his range. I said, man, this guy sings good. He'll work. He's a very articulate speaker. He's kind of quiet. Art's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
But I like his temperament. And I was like, this guy will work. But, if I'm being really, really honest.
By all means.
The guys were, and they'll probably never admit to this. They were very like, well, you got to sing backups with him on every song. And yeah, dude, they were very skeptical about it. They were worried. And they even toyed with the idea of me singing. They even took me to Tejas Records, Hector and Chris Leak, to record like a little demo. And but I wasn't ready. I was just not ready yet.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened. So we got Art, and I would go with him to work, and we were, working. I was like his vocal coach.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, man. Yeah. Sonny and I, we clicked from the very beginning. He's very outgoing, very energetic.
Well, he did tell me that he was all about you being the front man. And the rest of the guys from Vida said, you know what, Sonny, we want you to join the guys. Basically, they wanted him to sing the lead parts. And he said, no, man.
Yeah, awesome. And Sonny, Sonny and I have remained friends throughout the time. We've actually done shows together. If somebody called me and they're, hey, man, what would it take for you to get Sonny to jam with you? And I said, well, I need to see if he's not busy first. And then, most of the time it would work out, and he'd come play and we jam, we play together, and he'd get on stage and do a few songs, and it was great, man. And Sonny's a great guy. He's a great person.
I teased Sonny because I said, dude, between you and Art, I'm trying to figure out who has the bigger beard, man.
Oh yeah. I've had to shave mine a couple of times, so I'm the original. I'm the original beard guy.
I love it, man. So anyway, you were with Vida for how long? 17 years.
17 years. 17 years. We did 10 albums. So
wow. Grammy Award?
You what?
Grammy Award?
We were nominated twice for Grammys, 2 Grammy Awards. We won numerous Show Band of the Year awards. When I was with them, that was back when the Thema Awards was around.
Yeah.
And I won new male vocalist of the year that year. But it was great times, man. Grupo Vida was, we were like trendsetters. We just, we did our own thing, and we, we just had fun. We had fun on stage, and it was great, man. We did a lot of cool things. In 2000, we opened up for the Dixie Chicks. That was a cool milestone. That was
Did you dig that?
Yeah, that was really neat, man. I enjoyed it. It's kind of scary at first because, our first show was like in Iowa somewhere, Ames, Iowa, and I was like, well, there aren't very many Mexicans up here in Ames, Iowa. So I said, well, if it starts going south, we're doing Tejano, we'll do country, because we did pretty good country also at the time. And so we did a sound check, and then we did a couple of country songs, and we're like, okay, well, that's the game plan. Yeah. So after that, they came in and they were like, hey, we love you guys, sounded great, but we want you just to do Tejano music. And I was like, oh God. So we get out there, and it's like, okay, we start out the first show, and everybody's kind of, because our genre is not heard of in some parts of the States. Nobody knows, and they're like, okay. So by the end of our set, we had everybody dancing in the stands, and because they gave us all the lighting, and they gave us everything. It was awesome, man. And
tell us about backstage. You had masseuses. It was catered. Oh,
yeah. Oh, that was amazing, man. It was a good time, man. It was really neat. This was in 2000, so it's been a while, but that's always one of my, a great memory and a great milestone for me to have been able to do that.
So after 17 years being with Grupo Vida, you decided to say, you know what, I'm out. Any bad blood at all, or are you still good?
Well, no, there was some bad blood there in the beginning, because it just, started kind of falling apart, and it wasn't really working. And so everybody's kind of pointing fingers at who's who. And then, now it's just, it's kind of a shame that, the majority of guys I'm cool with, we talk and everything, but someone messaged me the other day, and they're like, yeah, man, these guys were doing an interview, and they mentioned everybody else, and they wouldn't mention your name. They would never say your name and nothing like that. And I was like, well, that's on them, because, 17 years in this group, all the songs that came out of Grupo Vida was me singing them,
There you go.
Vueltas y Vueltas, Esa Mujer, Cumbia Carrito, whatever songs that were, Dime Como Viviré, all those tunes, man, was my vocals on that. So regardless if they want to mention my name or give me credit for it, I mean, you can't take it away. It's what's there is there. So you can never, they can never take that away from me.
I will tell you this, though, when you mentioned Tejano music not being heard in certain states in the U.S., Esa Mujer is one of the few songs that we would play in the Valley that crossed over. When I'm saying crossed over, it was Tejano, and the people of the Valley accepted it. Sure. Now, there were some songs that, for example, Grupo Rodeo, some songs that didn't work in the Valley, that would work in San Antonio or Dallas or Houston. Sure. But Esa Mujer was one of those, man. And you know what? I dug that song.
Yeah, it's great, man. And of course, that was originally from City View. It's an original City View song, Esa Mujer. Ruben Cervantes was the vocalist. His wife at that time actually wrote that song. Wow. And so she wrote that song, and she reached out to me one time and sent us a message that she really enjoyed our version of it, and it was really good. So, which is a good compliment for me, for the band, being able to do that.
Sure. So. I see you being distracted by somebody.
Well, no, my kids just got home from football, and usually my dogs are going crazy, barking, so they're doing a good job kind of containing them.
Well, good for them, man. So, listen, after 17 years, what did you do, man?
After 17 years, we just took a break. Took a break for a while, for about a year, and then people just kind of were like asking, what happened, where do we go, and my wife and I, we decided let's just see what the response would be if we said that we were going to do something, we we're going to come out with a song, and it was just, it was great. The response was like, oh man, we didn't know where we went. We're waiting for your new stuff. And it just took off. It was like wildfire. It took off. We did a single. We recorded a song with Hugo Guerrero. You know Hugo, right?
Yeah, of course I do.
King.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast.
Great guy, man. He's the guy's fabulous. He's a genius at what he does, man. And on top of that, he's a great person and a great friend of mine. And so we did a a song. The first song we did was La Misma, and we did it at his studio, and then we released it, and it took off, man. So after that, everything started picking up speed, and I said, well, I guess, what are we going to do? And so I started doing like guest vocals with different groups. Calle Seis was one of them. They'd invite me to come and sing some songs with them. So I did, and Wild Bill and all those cats like that. And, to this day, I appreciate them for giving me that opportunity. Jess Lopez and all those guys were they've always been there and supported that. So they really helped me get this kind of, launched, kind of launched off. So it's good, man. So, yeah.
It sounds like your wife is involved in your career.
Oh yeah, man. She's very much involved. She does all my bookings. She manages the band. She's is always, always busy. She handles all the calls that come in because one, I had to separate myself from that. It makes it easier for her to negotiate things. And she's a smart girl, so
last week,
she's much better looking than me. So cool.
easier on the eyes. She's not sporting a beard, man.
Yeah, she's not sporting a beard. So
right on.
Yeah, but, so and then so people really dig it, and everywhere we go, now she's part of the whole team. So it's like, hey, did your wife come? People want to meet her. They're taking pictures with her because she's as much as in this as I am.
I kind of figured that out when last week we were supposed to do this, and you said I got to take my wife to the airport. I said, oh, she's a busy woman, man.
She is, man. But yeah, she's great. She's the one that keeps it together. Sometimes, there's a lot of times I start to kind of fuse out because, for instance, my guitar player that plays with us right now in both bands. So I have the Jukebox Preachers, as I mentioned, and the Art Tigerina Band, which is Tejano and country, and the Jukebox Preachers all country. So my guitar player is a white guy. Great guitar player, plays awesome country. He said, hey, man, I want to learn to play Tejano. So which is great. So everybody that plays in the band plays in both bands. The only thing I switch out the accordion player for a fiddle player. So, and it keeps everybody busy. So anyway, my guitar player broke his finger about 2 weeks ago.
Ouch.
He had to have reconstructive surgery on it. Ouch. So, I'm stressing. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do because, now I got to find two players. I have to find a Tejano player, and then for the country gigs, I have to find a country player. So I'm in the midst of doing that right now, and luckily, she's always a calm head. She's like, we'll figure this out, and it always works out, And,
but
the good thing is, the good thing is, it's always keeping a good rapport with musicians. Is always keeping that. Never trying to burn bridges with anybody, and they're always willing to help out. If they don't know somebody, they'll find somebody or they'll reach out, and that means a lot too, man.
But that's good that you can get a partner there, your wife there. She's your the yin to your yang, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, for sure. She helps out a lot, and she says I'm stubborn sometimes because I want to do things my way, and in the end, it works out because she didn't let me do it my way. So
got it.
That's why she's the brains, and I'm the beauty.
Still on. Good call, man. Hey, so listen, man. Regarding your Tejano, what's going on with that, and can we look forward to any new music with the Art Tigerina Band?
Sure, for sure, man. My stuff is available on digital platforms, of course, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your music from. I just released a new single called Saname, which was co-written by our keyboard player, so Panchito Virriado. I know you mentioned Rodeo earlier. He was a founding member of Rodeo. So he had this song, so he arranged it, he co-wrote it, produced it, and it's doing very well for us, man. So it's doing good. It's a good dance tune, and we have some new songs, of course, in the future coming out. So so we're just going to continue doing like that, releasing them on, people like CDs, so it's kind of hard to, we got to wait, and then we'll print a CD for those that want a physical copy.
Yeah,
because it just,
you know what though, I got to tell you, man, you're right. La raza, nuestra raza. They love the CD, man. I mean, man. I tell people, look, you can download whatever the hell you want, but there's nothing like having your hard copy, man.
Right.
And people say, I just want to add that to my collection, Sure.
And they love it. They're like, they want it so they can autograph it and they can keep it. They're just such a physical they can actually hold in their hand. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. We did that with our first CD. De Mi No Te Olvidarás. That was our first CD that we had out there. Those songs did very well for us also. So, yeah, so it's just a constant motion, trying to balance the time and the recording and the gigs and the travel and on both ends, So
yeah, I hear your dogs back in the background. Man.
Yeah, they're back outside.
That's all right. That's all right. Country, talk to me about that jukebox. What is it called again?
The Jukebox Preachers. The Jukebox Preachers is my country band. I have some original stuff working on an EP right now, and that's doing very well for us. We opened up for a few big groups, like we opened up for the Bellamy Brothers. We've opened up for Stoney LaRue.
Wow.
We've opened up for we just opened up for Shenandoah. We opened up for a couple of other big, Neil McCoy. So and that's really great because the Bellamy Brothers, when we opened up for them, the bass player, his wife, everybody loves the band. So when we open up, the band's out there watching us, and they're like, "Man, these guys." So they've helped us actually, and that's a great compliment from them.
The Bellamy, come on, that's the Bellamy Brothers. Come on, man.
It's the Bellamy Brothers. So you're sitting there and we're watching them play, and it's just like nostalgia, the hit after hit, and these guys are like, "Hey, man." So we became good friends. The bass player and I. He's like, "Hey, I got these places that we play at, and I always push your name." So he'll give me these places, and I'll call them. So he's actually helping me get shows at these big country places, and by just by him saying, "Hey, man, you need to get these guys to play." As a matter of fact, he just got us a New Year's Eve show in Sonora, opening up for Aaron Tippin. I don't remember who Aaron Tippin
yes, of course I do, man. I got turned on to Aaron Tippin in the early 90s, man. When country turned a new leaf, if you will.
Sure.
You had Brooks and Dunn, you had Neil McCoy, you had Hell Ketchum, all these boys, man.
Oh yeah. Hell Ketchum was one of my favorite.
Oh yeah, he's a badass, man. He's a badass.
Too bad he passed away, man.
Unfortunately.
I got to meet him, as a matter of fact. Cool thing. I got to meet Hell Ketchum.
Did you really?
It's kind of a cool. It was a neat thing. I mean, we went to go see him one time here in Green, and he was sick when I went to go see. So he had laryngitis. So, but it was really neat because everybody in the crowd knew his songs. So we all sang his songs. But we were at a restaurant there in San Marcos, and he walks by, and I looked at him, and I was like, and my wife was sitting across from me. I said, "That guy looks like Hell Ketchum." And I was looking at my wife. I said, "I'm gonna go ask him." So I followed him outside. And I said, "Hey, man," he's in his car. I said, "I hate to bother you, man, but has anybody ever told you look like Hal Ketchum?" He goes, "That's because I am Hal Ketchum." And I said, "Oh, that's so awesome." So he was a really cool guy, man. He signed an autograph for him. We talked for a little bit. And then, then to find that he had passed away from COVID, that was
COVID, I hate to say this, man, it was a motherfucker to everybody, man.
It was, man.
I don't care who you are.
Joe Diffie, Joe Diffie was phenomenal. One of my favorites also.
Not only that, man. I mean, the brother of Ramon Ayala.
Just to everybody, we lost, my wife and I were talking that day. We were like, man, we lost so many people this year, just through COVID or the aftermath of COVID or whatever, So, but, we thank God that every day that we're here, that we really didn't get. We did get it, and I think everybody's gotten it. And luckily we were just able to pull through, and we're still here today. And that's only by God's grace, right?
Yep, that's it, man. Well, good for you, brother. Listen, before I let you go, because I know you got to get your dogs are calling you.
My dogs are say, "Hey, we're gonna go for a walk."
Can you play a little something for us? I see you with the guitar there, but
yeah, man.
Please play whatever you want. If you don't mind.
I'm going to play a song that's called, on that last note that we talked about, I think that everyone's looking for that quiet spot, that quiet time to share with, whether you're a believer or you're not. I think everybody, you have to find that time. So here's a cool piece. It's a song by a gentleman, Larry Fleet, and the song is called Where I Find God. So it's a great message. So here goes. Night I hit a rock bottom, sitting on a lone bar stool. He paid my tab, put me in a cab. He didn't have to. He could see that I was hurting. Lord, I wish I'd got his name. I didn't feel worth saving. saved me just the same. From the bar stool to that heaven room, Sunday morning in church pew, in a deer stand or a hayfield, interstate back to Nashville, the Chevrolet where the winter's now. Me and him is right around sometime. Whether I'm looking for him or not, that's where I find God. So,
Art Tigerina, thank you so much, brother. I know you're busy, man. I want to thank you for taking the time.
thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man. God bless you, man. And we hope this isn't the last time.
Now, when your music comes out, you're more than welcome to come on back on, man.
Yeah, man. I'll give you a holler for sure, man. And we'll get down. Yeah, and you're in Houston still, right?
I'm in San Antonio, brother.
You're San Antonio.
Yeah.
Close.
Yes.
I saw the cap. I saw the cap, man. That's awesome. I love your cap, man.
I am from Houston, man. But
okay, that's what I thought. That's why I knew you had some ties to Houston. So
I got ties all over Texas, man. Forget about it. Even out of Texas, King out.
There you go, man.
What are you going to be doing for Halloween, man?
Man, we're just going to be, normally I do like this cool little deal outside of my house. I do like an unplugged thing. Everybody comes out and they'll bring their carts and they'll bring after the kids trick or treat, and they'll come sit in my yard, in my driveway, and they'll sit in the streets. But I'm not going to do that this year. We're going to just pass out candy. And then, because my wife's, she's working in San Antonio that night. So we're just going to go back over there and enjoy the Halloween. Where
are you at right now?
I'm here. I live in Buda.
You're in Buda. Okay, cool, man.
Buda,
right
so
on.
not too far.
So when you sit there and entertain the kids for Halloween, what songs do you sing?
Well, no, it's actually the parents. So they'll come by and I'll be set up already out there. So they'll drive by and I have my lights and set up to ready to play, and they'll go take their kids and then they'll come back.
So what kind of song would you play for Halloween, man?
I don't really do any like spooky songs.
The Monster Mash? Nothing.
The Monster Mash. I just do like some of my set, the country stuff. So
got it. No, I understand. Art, thanks again. I'm gonna let you go, brother.
Thank you, man. Peace.
Take care.
Thank you.
That's it. Wrapping up the first episode, the premiere of season 13 with Art Tigerina. You got to make sure you look them up. The Art Tigerina Band and the Jukebox Preachers. Alright, as usual, hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. We're out the door. Gotta take the voice girl, Jacqueline, Romeo, TalentNation.net, and more importantly, you, the listeners, the subscribers. If you like the podcast, tell your friends. If your friends don't like it, find new friends. So just chill to the next episode of the AC Cruz Podcast. Much love. Be safe.